What's up, everybody? We are back today. We have the challenge episode 2. So we got a lot to talk about. It's another week of me being upset at the result of the end of the episode, but we'll get to that in a second. So we returned from the elimination. Everyone's getting into the house, and everybody's just basically getting to know Ed. Ed is the replacement for Nam. He came in at the end of the elimination, so everybody's getting to know him, and everybody's liking him so far. He's very likable as a person, just in general. I like him as a person as well. But yeah, everybody's thinking of him as somebody that's just goofy and somebody's just exciting to be around. He doesn't expect them to look at him as a threat, and he doesn't want them to look at him as a threat. He's basically talking about he's very smart. He comes from an Ivy League school. I think he said he was in engineering as well. So in terms of just smarts, he got it. So in like mental competitions, he's looking like he's looking like he definitely can be one of the beasts in that challenge. So and physically, he looks like he can hang too. So he's excited about that, but he's trying to play the game the way he's supposed to play it, which basically he wants him to just look at him as a funny guy. So that's what he's doing. Gabo's in the other room talking to the vets, talking about he's excited about being on American TV, coming from Warsaw, Poland, I believe that's what it is. But yeah, so then they all just go and they're all partying outside and dancing and whatnot. And then we get the little hookup scenes. We got Kels and Tori, they're in the bed. And they just in there fooling around and whatnot. And Tori's, she's basically telling the camera, direct the camera, that she likes Kels, but she doesn't want to, okay. Anyways, she was talking to the camera, talking about how she likes Kels, and she doesn't want the vets to catch wind of that because they might think or question her loyalty and might want to throw her in and get her out because she's close to Kels. And Kels being a rookie is not pretty much a good look for her, but she's focused. She's focused on the game. She's not trying to get too wrapped up in Kels, but she still likes him. She wants to be around him, but she just wants to keep her game straight. So, I mean, I can understand that. Kels is very much the same way. Kels is dope, man. I really like him as a competitor. I like him as a game player. Like he's playing this game the way I would play the game. He's playing the game that I want to see somebody play the game. He's not a scared player, and he's not scared to voice his opinion either. But then continuing with the hookups, we got Nelson and Berna. Actually, we got Nelson and Ashley. They're in the bed fooling around too. And Nelson's basically saying he's not looking for a relationship. He's not looking to be tied up with Ashley. Basically, he's just using her to get his nut off. And Ashley is actually catching feelings, as most people already knew, as we knew would happen. Nelson is not, he's not ready to be in a relationship. Ashley knows that, which is why it's like, Ashley, why are you doing this? But she's wrapped up in her feelings. She keeps fucking around with Nelson. Nelson's giving her whatever he needs to give her to get them feelings going, but it's not going to be good for Ashley in the end. Nelson's just doing Nelson. So we got Amanda and Nany in the other room talking about Nelson and Ashley. And they're nervous for Ashley. They're worried for her because they know she's going to catch feelings, and they know how Ashley is. Whenever she gets involved and something doesn't go her way, you know she's going to blow up and have a meltdown. And Amanda's like, good luck, Nelson. Like, you dealing with Ashley. You know what you're dealing with. So here we go. So then from there, we get Michele and Tracy talking on this is the next day at this point. So Michele and Tracy are talking, and Michele is basically apologizing to Tracy because Tracy had Devin as her partner. She grabbed Devin as her partner in the first challenge. Michele stole Devin in the elimination because you know they can switch partners if they win the elimination. So she's basically just apologizing to her. Tracy is just happy to be there. Tracy don't give a damn. Like she's just happy to be there. She's really, really sweet. She's really, really nice, which can be boring on TV. But she ain't worried about that. And then we get the next scene, and Kels is sitting there working out with Tori, and Nelson comes down, and you can tell Nelson's looking at Kels like Kels is somebody I need to get up out of here because he's definitely a threat to him and the rest of the dudes in the house too. And Kels is putting the fear of God in these motherfuckers. Like, I mean, he's in the cameras talking about how he feels like the rookies. He likes the rookie bunch that he has in terms of like the dudes as well, because all the rookie dudes, like if they played the game the way Kels and Michaela played the game, they can take these niggas out of here. They can get them vets out of here. Because you got people like Kels, you got people like Jeremiah, you got people like Emmanuel, you got people like Tommy, you got people like Ed. Like, they all, and Corey L. Like, they all are fit and they look like they really can do something. Like, if they really put their heads together, they get these niggas up out of here. But that's what Kales is saying. He said he feels good. Like, he feels like the rookies have a shot. And then we get the next scene. The next scene has Nany, Amanda, Kaycee, Kyle, and Josh in the room. And they're talking about just basically staying aligned as a core group with vets and going ahead and continue to get the rookies out. And they're looking at certain people to shoot for in that rookie group. And they're looking at Kels, because they're looking at Kels as he's like the leader of the rookies, and he's the only one that is sticking out to them as somebody that would actually take a shot at one of them. And like I said, Kels is threatening to the rest of these people. Like, Kels physically is about the same. I believe he's the same size and height as Fessy. So they're obviously going to be fearing him. So they're ready to get him up out of there, and I don't want that. But the next scene, we get Fessy and Esther, and they're in another room, and they're just basically preparing for the daily challenge. And Fessy's basically talking to Esther about just trying to get her pepped up, and Esther's excited. Esther's going to be a good character to have on the show. She's unexpected. You look at her, you don't necessarily expect her to be one that's super excited to play the game, and she's excited. She told him, like, I'm ready. Like, I'm coming to go get me something to eat, and I'll be ready for this challenge. And she basically asked Fessy if he wants something. He's like, nah, I'm not doing it because he's doing Ramadan and he's fasting, which I think is really dope. I think it's cool that he's doing it on the show. It's bringing more attention to that culture as well, which is cool. But yeah, I mean, him doing this is definitely going to be a challenge for him because he's not going to be able to consume as much as most people are. And that could be a crutch to his game and his performance. So we'll see how that works. But then we get to the challenge. They're all there, and they're at the mission site, and then you got TJ driving up in his car, always trying to have an entrance, and then you got this helicopter flying after him, basically. So they know that's what's going to be involved in the challenge. So basically, this challenge is called Heli Heist, and TJ basically is telling them about the challenge. One partner is going to be up in the helicopter, the other is going to be in the car. And basically he's got these jewels, which are these bags. The partner that is in the helicopter is tossing the bags to the partner that's in the car. And the objective of the game is for them to have the most of those jewels whenever the car stops and runs to the end. So that starts, and I got it listed down. We got, in the first group, we got Tori and we got Corey L. And we've got Tacha, I was about to say Tacha and Jeremiah. And in this first little group, they all did pretty well. Jeremiah and Tacha got 18, and Tori and Corey L got 18 bags. And Jeremiah was flying out of that car. He took off running, like, took off. And a lot of them did. In the next one, we got Corey and Bettina versus Kaycee and Emmanuel. Emmanuel and Kaycee got 28 bags. Emmanuel was gone. He shot out that bitch quick too. And then we got Corey and Bettina with 20. And then in their little interview before they did the competition, Bettina was laughing for a good 10 seconds. And that shit felt like it was about 30. Because that laugh is horrible. I've never heard a laugh so bad in my life. And Corey's face, when she kept on laughing, he looked at her like, damn bitch, are you okay? Like, what's up? And then after them, we got Big T and we got Tommy versus Emmy and Ed. I don't even think they showed Big T and Tommy's amount. If they did, I didn't catch it. But Emmy and Ed got 13. And this is funny considering both of the girls, Emmy and Big T, they were in the helicopter, and both of those girls, they were nervous as fuck. Like, they both was up there shaking. Big T was handling it better than Emmy. Emmy ass was up there crying and basically having a whole hissy fit. And then she's out here throwing, and it was funny watching her throw the bags because this girl was throwing the bags like she had hot coals in her hands. Like, she was just throwing that shit. And she was upset because, I mean, she was throwing them so hard too. That's the thing. She was throwing them so hard. She didn't have any aim, which is why they only got 13 bags. But whatever. She was crying and doing all that extra shit because she sucked in that challenge. And Ed was basically comforting her as he should as a partner. But that girl, she is too much for me. In the next round, we got Ashley and Huey. And this is kind of like a montage situation. So we really didn't get to see how they performed. But we got Ashley and Huey versus CT and Berna. Ashley and Huey got 10. CT and Berna got 16. And the next one we got Aneesa and Logan versus Kels and Tracy. Aneesa and Logan got 15 kills and Tracy got 6. And then we got Devin and Michele versus Amanda and Kyle. They did well. Devin and Michele got 20. Amanda and Kyle got 25. And then we got Nany and Gabo versus Nelson and Priscilla. They all got 26. And then Berna and Nelson. It's funny too because when Nelson finished, Ashley went up to him and was all up on him. You doing great, da da da. And then Nelson kind of like, you could tell Nelson was not really trying to fuck with Ashley like that. Because he immediately beelined to Berna. And he and Berna have like a more organic connection. You can tell he's actually more intrigued with Berna than he is with Ashley. Ashley's not catching these hints at this moment in time. The rest of the cast is looking like, okay, Ashley, like, especially Nany. Nany's the one that's really clocking it. She's like, Nelson's not really fucking with her like that. But she's noticing that Nelson and Berna are starting to kind of really bud a nice little relationship going on. And she's worried for Ashley. She's like, Ashley got to get it together. Like, stop worrying about Nelson. But then, before we get to the last group, since Josh does not have a partner, and and I just realized this too. They didn't even describe or give us any explanation as to why Lauren has been edited out and why she is no longer here. This bitch had to have said something racist. You can't tell me she didn't say nothing racist, because when they edit you out, you either done some racist shit or you done something extreme. And they haven't even said anything about it, which pisses me off, because if it was something racist, she needs to be shown, like, you in a way protecting her. Show that shit so she can learn from it. But they didn't show it, so we have a replacement coming in. This replacement coming out is the finest little motherfucking curly-haired, long-legged, light-skinned beauty, Miss Amber B. Amber comes out and she has a nice-ass entrance. She got Amine, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I love his music. I bump his music all the time. Compensating, I play that shit every time I go to the gym, every time I'm in the car. And that's what they had coming. I mean, not that direct song, but they had his song out there and she was walking. You know, Amber's a model and she just looked like, the champ is here. The champ is here. And she's very confident. Amber said, nice Amber is not here. And I'm so happy to hear that, because that's the part I didn't like about her last season, was that she was too nice. And I loved Amber from Big Brother. She's beautiful, first of all. I just like to look at her. Like, I just love to look at her. She's fucking beautiful. But she's a beast too. Like, you see how she performed in that final. Like, she's the type of girl that you don't want to see in that final, because that girl can run. And like I said, she's beautiful. Like, she's beautiful. And she came in and she was ready. Like I said, she was ready. She was like, the champ is here. She said in her confessions, I'm not playing these games this season. And she's looking at Fessy too, like, Fessy and Kaycee, I'm not really fucking with them either, considering how I watched the rest of the season and seeing how they was talking behind my back. So that's something to watch out for. And Fessy was nervous too. He's like, I don't want her to be here, because he already knows that she ain't fucking with him. So that's going to be interesting going into the game. But Amber and Josh are partnered up and they compete against Esther and Fessy. And Esther was up there dropping them things. Esther was dropping them bombs, and Esther was just boom, boom, boom. She's a sleeper. She's somebody that you don't look at as a potential threat, but she performs. Esther's dope. I really like her as a competitor. So we didn't get Amber and Josh's total, but the top two of the daily challenge were Esther and Fessy and Emmanuel and Kaycee. Second place was Emmanuel and Kaycee with 28. And Esther and Fessy win with 30, and that's pretty dope. Like I said, Fessy's teaming better this season. Like, he hasn't gotten on my nerves yet, so that's good. But yeah, he did really well with Esther. I can tell Esther's a good partner for him. It's going to teach him how to actually work with somebody. And she's good. She pulls her weight. So they win. Esther's happy as fuck. She's jumping up and down. She's lit. She's the first Nigerian to win a daily challenge on the challenge. And Fessy's happy. He's happy to be doing well, especially considering he's basically fasting for Ramadan. So he's basically doing all this on an empty stomach, which for most people would be a crutch, and it seems to be doing well for him. Emmy's ass is nervous, and Ashley and Nelson basically comfort her and just basically telling her, like, everything's gonna be okay. She feels like she's gonna be a hot target, whatnot. So then from there, they all go partying. They all go out to the club with nobody there. It's like a club that the challenge put together. It's a club atmosphere. It looks like a club. It looks like a bar. I mean, not even a club, just a bar. But they all in there dancing, laughing, and doing whatever they do. And then there's always the flirting. Fessy and Amanda are flirting. Fessy seems more into Amanda than Amanda is to him. Amanda said, I'm here for the bag. I'll flirt with him, but I'm here for the bag. Amanda, you can tell Amanda likes him in a way, but she ain't. Amanda don't play those games. Amanda's ready for. But Amanda, since we're talking about Amanda, I don't like the way she been with Michaela. Like, if you watch that after show, if you watch that live that she did with Ashley and Michele, she was being slick shady with when it came to anything Michaela. Like, she was just slick nasty with it, and I didn't like that shit. Like, and I like Amanda. That's it. Y'all know that. I mean, I like Amanda. But that shit turned me off, and I'm like I'm kind of off her right now. I'm gonna see how she acts in this reunion to see if I'm gonna really be all the way off. But like she on like stiff arm right now. She on further notice. I'll deal with her later. But yeah, so Ashley is telling Nelson, because they're basically sitting there talking in each other's faces, and Ashley's basically telling Nelson that she's catching feelings and whatnot, and Nelson's kind of like, no, let's not do that. I'm under the impression that we're under friends with benefits type of deal. And basically, he's thinking that Ashley knew that he felt that way. And I don't know why Ashley didn't know that, but apparently she didn't. But we move on to Kels and Fessy having a conversation. And Kels and Fessy are looking at each other, and Fessy's telling him that everybody in the house would expect for him to put up Kels, because Kels and him are the two that look like they're basically the biggest competition in the game, which they are. Well, I'll say Kels is. But Kels thinks that he's good. He's close with Esther. He feels like he doesn't really have much to really worry about, but he's not dumb. He knows that he is a threat in this game, so it wouldn't necessarily shock him if he hears his name. And then we got the next scene. We move on to Josh, basically talking about how he thinks that he can get Kels into the elimination. He feels as though he can get the vets on his side to vote Kels into the elimination because he feels like he has this pool. Which with Josh, I just don't understand where. I don't understand where he gets all this pool though. Because in a way, he does have some type of pool with some of these people. Like, these people love Josh, and I don't know why. I don't, because I'm not a fan. But I mean, that's me. So I mean, different strokes for different folks, but people like him. So Josh is basically, like I said, he's got a crew around him. I say that. He's got an alliance. He's got people that do like him to where they will listen to what he has to say. So with that, we move on to Nelson, basically out here flirting with Berna in front of Ashley's face, and she's getting very jealous. And CC's looking around, and he's kind of worried because Berna is his partner, and he knows how Ashley is. So with Ashley getting ready to basically have a meltdown and an explosion, he thinks with her not liking Berna because Nelson likes Berna and she likes Nelson, that's going to be a big issue for him because Berna is his partner. And he feels like she's directly going to come after Berna, which everybody knows she is. So with that, he is worried. And Devin had a line directly after this scene. Devin had said, he said, Ashley's meltdown is coming, but you might as well, instead of calling her Ashley Millionaire Mitchell, we should call her Ashley Meltdown Mitchell. He said, because she's got way more meltdowns than she has cash. Let that simmer. Devin's a fool. But yeah, like I said, Nelson's not worried about Ashley. He does not, you can tell he's not right there with her. Like, if she gonna give him some like, he gonna, let me not say that. If she gonna give him some play, he gonna take it. But he ain't trying to be with her. Like, you can tell he's very affiliated with Berna. Devin and Josh, and they're basically in the room playing chess, like they playing Big Brother, which is so funny because, you know, Devin could not stand Big Brother, but now he's with Big Brother. But they're basically plotting on Kels. They're like, we got to get him up out of here because he's good with everybody, especially with the rookies and with the vets. He's got his in with Tori. And they're like, we got to get him up out of here. And he knows, basically Devin knows Kels is a big threat to his game, big threat to everybody's game. Devin is telling Tori and Aneesa about it. And basically Tori's like, okay, well, I feel like they're kind of testing my loyalty to the vets. And she's like, if I go tell Kels and Kels is out here trying to clear his name, they're gonna look at me like, okay, Tori, you told Kels that we're trying to get him out of here. And she's kind of like caught between a rock and a hard place, trying to figure out what to do because she likes Kels, but she wants to stay in good with the vets. So we get to the nomination, and Josh starts talking and starts lying. He starts saying that Kels is walking around here making promises to everybody in the house, and Kels is like, hold on, wait a minute, like, who am I making promises to? Like, tell me who these people are that I'm making promises to. Josh didn't give no names. Kels went down the line to everybody in the house, just about everybody in the house, and was like, okay, so am I giving y'all any promises? Have I gave y'all any promises? And they're like, no. And Josh is basically lying, but for some odd reason, it ends up working. But Kels was clocking the hell out of Josh. He was clocking the fuck out of him. I was writing these damn notes down, and I was just writing and writing and writing. The next thing you know, I just went, because like that nigga said shit, I just had to get up. I'm like, dude, like get his ass. Because Kels was on Josh's neck and was letting him have it. But unfortunately, Kels did not get that to work. So Kels and Tracy, I couldn't even think of her name. Tracy, she's got an interesting look. Tracy looks kind of like an alien to me. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I just mean she's got a very interesting look. I've never seen somebody that looks like her. But when they were voting, Tacha, she basically had a scene where she's basically saying, I feel like everybody's going to vote for Kels, but I'm going to do my own thing because who's to say that that isn't what's going to happen? I'm like, thank you. Like, finally another rookie that's actually doing what she wants to do, not being pressured by the majority of the house. Like, yeah, that could put a target on your back, but fuck it, play the game. Priscilla is peeping how the vets are playing too. She's like, I see they trying to come for Kels. They tried to come for Michaela. Well, they did come for Michaela, but they trying to come for Kels, and she's looking like, okay, maybe I could be next. Like, if we continue to let them keep picking off our numbers, then we're going to be out of here, and it's just going to be the vets. Thank you. Hello, somebody wake up. But Josh and Fessy are strategizing on basically who to throw in to face Kels and Tracy. Fessy is looking at Amber. He wants Amber to go in against Tracy and Kels, which I'm like, okay, so that's stupid. Because if you put Amber in against Tracy, who arguably to me, I think Tracy is the weakest girl that is in that house, and Amber is one of the strongest girls in that house. Amber might be skinny, but Amber is very strong. She's won, 2 eliminations already, and she just won the whole challenge by herself. As a female, I ain't gonna say by herself because she had CT with it, but she hauled ass on that final. She was dragging his ass from the running portion, so yeah, in a way she did win by herself. But you gonna put her in against Tracy, that's stupid because you know she's gonna come back, and if she comes back, she's gonna be coming for you. But Esther, so we finally get to the elimination ring, which is called the lair. And we get basically the vote. Esther ends up saying Emmy, and Fessy follows suit. So he doesn't say Amber, he follows with Esther and says Emmy. And then Fessy basically is he's having this moment where he's trying to fake out the vets in a way. He's trying to say, like, I basically feel like if I was in their position and they were in mine at this moment in time, and they had Kels down here, they would throw me down. I would throw me down if I was in their position, but I'm trying to use this as basically a way to build trust with them, considering how he played the game last season, and he already knows that people are looking at him a certain way. And he's like, yeah, I should use this as a moment to show trust, and he goes ahead and says Ed, so he throws Ed and Emmy into the elimination against Kels and Tracy. Now, this elimination, I don't necessarily know what the name was, I wasn't listening, but it's basically a puzzle elimination. They've got these puzzles, these big blocks, there's 12 of them at the bottom, basically on the ground. And there's this like trapeze door type deal where the girls are laying on it and they fall down to get the pieces. And with the pieces, they've got this long rope with like a magnet at the end, which is what's pulling the pieces up to them. Now, as they're pulling it up, the guys are pulling the little trapeze door that they're on back to get the puzzle pieces. So they do that back and forth for a good period of time. Emmy and Ed were off to the lead. They were off to a pretty solid lead at first, but Tracy and Kel started to pick it up, and they started to get closer and closer to them. And then they went ahead and started the puzzle. And as they started the puzzle, it was kind of neck and neck for a little period. But towards the end, Emmanuel and Emmy ended up pulling it out. And before we even talk about that, because they won, but Emmy was acting a damn fool when they called her ass into that elimination. And if you're watching Big Brother this season, I stopped doing that review, as you can tell if you've been following my page. Only because that's a lot. Same with Love Island. I can't do 3 episodes a week. I can't do that shit. Like, that's crazy. I don't have that much time. But she was acting like Brittany from that show. If you watch Brittany, Brittany cries anytime her name is mentioned and she's put on the block. She's crying and acting like, woe is me. Like, these people are picking on me. Nobody's picking on you, bitch. You're playing the game. Like, nobody told you, nobody said in the rule book that you can't sit on the block every single week. Like, nobody wants that to happen, but it's not personal. And even if it was personal, you signed up for it. I'm about to add in the Victoria for BBK. You signed up for this.
You signed up for this. You signed up for 90 days. Stop playing the fucking victim. You signed up for this.
Like, please. And then Emmy gets in there and she's sitting down there crying and acting a fool, saying she feels betrayed. Like, shut the fuck up. Get in the elimination. Do what you got to do. She did what she had to do, unfortunately, for me. But they ended up winning the elimination. Emmy ends up getting the chance to steal Devin from Michele. And Ed steals Tori from Corey L, which leaves Corey L and Michele together. So going into next week, we had, I'm trying to remember what happened. So at the for the preview for next week, we had Tori basically talking about how she doesn't trust Big T. In the preview for the daily challenge, it looks like it's pretty dangerous. They're jumping off this little cliff type of deal, and it's got a brick tunnel underneath into the water. And a lot of people are coming up there with bloody noses. I saw Michele with a bloody nose, which I was like, wow, okay, that's not looking too good. But yeah, that's all I can remember at this moment in time. What we're gonna do now, I think we're gonna watch a little bit of this after show. I really don't think we should watch it because I don't think there's much to really talk about. We're not gonna watch that. Okay. Well, that wraps up my review for this week. If you like this video, I'm a little all over the place today. But if you like this review and want to see more, give me a thumbs up, please. Go ahead and do that right now. Drop a comment down below. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my other content as well. I got a couple shows that I want to do going forward. I also have Tiana and Iman's show that I think I'm going to be doing. If I do it, you'll see it tomorrow. But yeah, that's it. I'll be here next week. Hopefully with a little more structure. But I will be here next week. I will talk to y'all later. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. Especially Twitter, because I be on Twitter talking my shit. Follow me. I'll talk to y'all next week.